These guys are so insecure. I remember having nearly identical conversations with my idiot middle school friends back in the day. Grow the hell up. Their idea of manhood is exactly the type of man my father taught me to never strive to become.
The human race is divided in two distinct sexes, male and female. While the typical man is a simple creature, there exists a subgroup, the nice guy, a dying breed of chivalrous, romantic, domesticated gentlemen whose qualities are desired by the opposite sex, allegedly. However, they are dismissed and confined in such concepts as the bestie, work husband, and the dreaded friend zone. Joe, Jason, and Manny are the last of the nice guys.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another exciting edition to the Last of the Nice Guys. I am Joe.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Manny.
Manny, why do you delay sometimes? It's like you notice that you give a little dead air.
I mean, listen, you got to give it a little space, man. You can't just. We're not robots here, bro.
I get you. I just
Why
curious.
do we call it dead air? Why do we have to call it dead air? Why can't it just be like
That's what it is. It's dead air.
That's the term. That's the terminology. Dead air.
Can we yeah, but it shouldn't like it's harsh. Dead.
You gotta excuse Joey. He's not intellectually inclined here. Sorry.
Intellectually.
Right.
Intellectually.
Anyway, for our topic today, Jay, you're gonna have to say the topic because I literally
Today's topic that Joey wants to talk about is, are we a bunch of insecure punks? By we, I mean us, these three fine gentlemen here. Now, this is inspired by a comment on Man's YouTube. Yes, Man has a YouTube, and he's posting all of our clips on there randomly, and they're getting some traction, believe it or not. So, Man, do you want to read the comment that lit a fire under Joe's ass that made us record late, that made us now talk about this topic that he couldn't remember himself?
Sure. So this was for what episode?
Huge fire.
36.
I said huge fire. You said huge fire under my ass. Yeah, it was a huge fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Episode 36, which was titled How Being Too Nice Can Make You Miserable.
Yes.
So
some random dude, have no idea who this guy is, didn't even reply to my reply, so whatever.
A troll.
Yeah, he starts
It's
off saying,
it's a reply though.
Right. He starts off by saying his name is Nick P. Know who that is, nor do I care. These guys are so insecure. I remember having nearly identical conversations with my idiot middle school friends back in the day. Grow the hell up. These dudes look 40 while talking about women like they're 13. Their idea of manhood is exactly the type of man my father taught me to never strive to become, completely based on insecurity.
Okay. So this episode was about how being too nice can make you, it can ruin your life. I, unfortunately, before this episode, did not re-listen to that episode, but the topic had very little to do with women, if I recall properly. It's about being nice and being taken advantage of by women, family, friends, at work,
anybody in general.
So if we did talk about women, I don't remember it. You guys listen to it if we're wrong. Let us know. I really should have re-listened to it, but I wasn't sure we were doing this topic. But we can't confirm or deny that this gentleman is commenting on anything more than the clips that Man is posting. Now, these clips are the sizzle reels. It's me taking random thoughts that we say out of context and throwing them together on purpose, because the clips that I use, I feel the most intriguing, that make you want to listen to hear what we're talking about.
Jay, it's called a what again?
What?
It's called what again?
What is called what?
You said it's called a scissor.
It's like a sizzle reel. Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't mean it's the entire episode in one clip. It's just a small portion.
It's literally
some people forget that.
Yeah,
it's literally 59 seconds of a
59 seconds
5-minute discussion.
Pretty much. And
exactly.
And I have to make it very clear. These clips that I cut together are cut out of context and out of order sometimes on purpose to tell a different narrative, because I'm trying to intrigue you to listen. To the fact that even Man had told me that the way I'm editing these clips, it intrigues his people to tune in, because that's what I do. We say sensational things without context. And as a proper producer and a proper editor, that's my job, is to take those contexts, make it something that you want to listen to, and then you tune into the whole thing, get the whole thing. But again, we can't confirm or deny that he even listened to the full episode. We can't confirm or deny that he looked at any of the other clips. He wrote this comment under a 59-second clip that didn't mention women once, at all. So I don't know what his basis was for this comment at all.
I can tell you what it was.
What?
He wasn't hugged enough as a child.
That is true. That is true.
I literally thought you were about to say something very serious.
Yeah, me too. I thought you were going to say something.
I was about to say something very serious.
So, but I have to ask the question then: Are we a bunch of insecure punks? We're three men, in our late 30s. That more than half of these topics are about women and what women, our gripes with women, and our history and our follies and our foils and our trials and our tribulations. Does that make us insecure because we're expressing ourselves through this medium? Joe?
No, it doesn't. I think we're going to be biased with each other right now and say that we're not going to call each other insecure.
I don't think so. I think we're pretty open-minded, and I'm pretty sure we'd call ourselves out on bullshit if we were full of shit. I think so.
That's what I'm saying. And what's funny to me is that he's mentioning how my father or grandfather, whoever the hell he was mentioning, he was saying how he was taught differently. You have to understand something.
Taught how to be exactly the opposite of how we are.
Right. You got to understand something. If you're gonna go ahead and mention anyone that's your father or grandfather, please understand that the times are different.
Yep.
Back then, everything was more blunt, to the point, and you needed to be this in society as a couple. You needed to be married. Everything was straightforward. Now,
gender roles were assigned, everything like that.
Yeah. There was no LGBTQT XYZ back then when your grandfather and father were growing up. It was just one. That's it. Straightforward, straight line. So
the idea of that got people killed.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty much. So the for me to hear him mention that, it sounds like I'm not saying that he's comparing, but it sounds like to me that he is. And for you to even remotely think that the women of today were the same as the women back then, you're crazy. You're insanely crazy. There was one role and one job for women back then. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. Ask anybody. There was one role and one job for women back then, and they were to be a housewife. Okay, and if we're talking about back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, up until maybe the 80s, things were starting to change a little bit, in the 90s, and then today things are completely different. Those times, women had one role. You cannot compare to what your grandfather and father did and how they raised you, or how they were raised, rather. And then, I think that's great that they have that mindset that, you're supposed to be masculine. And we are. We're men. Let's be real. We're all supposed to be masculine as men. But unfortunately, if you want to be technical, and I will be technical, since the 80s, the testosterone levels have been dropping by 1%. Since the 80s, every single year, 1%.
That's
because of all the estrogen that's in our food.
Right, exactly.
That and the lack of manual labor that is today. There's not the jobs are not as manual as they used to be back then.
Don't correct me, man.
Right.
I'm adding to you what you said, okay? You insecure little bitch.
I'm adding to what you said. all I saw was his face. Yeah, I'm adding to what he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Questionable.
no. But but I mean to say that there's many in betweens. You know, there's a bunch of pages between the beginning page and the end, like that you're completely missing. And for you to just call us insecure as men is to me is offensive. It's crazy. I think that it's crazy for you to say that, because today's modern women and the relationships and dating world today is absolutely atrocious. The roles have been changed and everything is different. We created this podcast because we're not complaining about women or bringing them down. We obviously love women, allegedly, and
Manny hates love.
and
Joe likes his questionables.
I like my questionables.
Questionable.
But we're never at a point where we despise, you know, women and we talk bad about them, whatever. We're basically, we created this podcast to basically talk about the ups and downs of relationships, how men are treated differently today, whether that be poorly or better, mainly poorly. And this is the truth. It's hard for some people it's hard for some people to accept the truth, but it's I don't hear any insecurity between us, between the three of us. I don't hear it.
To add to that,
So,
yes, this podcast was brought about because we wanted to be the voice of the other side. It's funny because Kevin Samuel said this in one of his episodes. He's like, I'm not talking about men. We've had 40, 50 years of how men have been wrong. We've heard it all. This is now time to reflect on women, their role in this cycle. And it's funny because that's exactly what the podcast was about. Even before I even stumbled upon, or I was recommended Kevin Samuels, it was a platform for men, nice guys, decent guys, good guys in general, to commiserate with us. It's like therapy for us. You know, it's cathartic. And the idea was simply to, you know, be the voice of reason. It's not, you know, all men's fault. It's not one-sided, and that women have to take responsibility for their fuckery. That's it. I mean, that's it. It's not necessarily bad behavior, just fuckery. So yeah, that was what this podcast is about. It has got nothing to do with being insecure. It has to do with Joe saying, listen, let's talk about it. Let's get in there. I got so much to say. You two do. Sorry, Jay.
You do too?
You do too. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. And then of course, you know, Manny was and currently is going through, you know, a divorce, and he needed to bring up something as well. So like this came out of a need for us to express ourselves and to be to say what some men probably won't say, to be vulnerable for some men that won't be more vulnerable, you know, and to have dialogue and discord with women, which is what we have. A lot of dialogue, a lot of discord with women, a lot of open-minded women. So Manny, same question. Are we a bunch of insecure punks?
Absolutely not. I think you know, and this is just being unbiased 100%, because as a father of a young gay man and two daughters, yeah, they're not mine. I stole them. You know, it just, as the generations progress, you have to progress with them. So things change, mindsets change, ideals change, and the archaic ways of gender roles where men have to be men 100% and women are to be women, they're dead. It's over. Like, you know, it's not about that anymore. My thought as soon as I saw this comment was, this gentleman's just he's one of the bullies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was the high school bully. No one cared for him, no one paid attention to him, so his source of grandeur is to basically shit on other people.
Yep.
Oh, you're expressing your feelings, you're a little bitch. Why don't you man up, why don't you grow up? Now it's funny that he says, you know, we look like we're 30. I'm questioning how old he is.
40. Look like we're 40.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, but I'm questioning how old he is at this point, because you know, for him to call us out, you know, you're basically doing, and you're complaining the same exact, you're complaining about what you're complaining about, you know, so you're putting yourself with your own foot in your mouth, as I say it. And it's troubling because that's the problem with society, and that's how things break down. Because again, as I mentioned to him in the comment, you're basically being judgmental over 59 seconds over a 45-minute discussion. You're like a gossipy little bitch at this point. Making judgment calls when you don't know nothing. It's like you're walking at the end of a conversation where someone's like, yeah, I killed that last night. And you're like, oh man, who did we murder? No,
Exactly.
you jackass. You missed the whole story. Like, I was talking about
it wasn't murder. It was a woman.
It wasn't murder.
It was murder.
It wasn't murder.
And it got a little bloody, but let's just say crime scene
questionable.
But and that's the problem with society. And this gentleman, again, nothing against him, but again, how are you complaining? Yeah, everything against him. Let me just take that back. How are you going to complain about how we discuss our feelings if you obviously seem too afraid to do so? You're going to call us out, and here we are calling you out, because if you're saying we look 40, the fact that you say anything means that you're older and you're set in your archaic ways, and you're not willing to be progressive. And that's the exact terminology of toxic masculinity. I'll square up when I have to square up. Like if someone crosses me, I'm willing to go down. I don't care if you're 3 feet taller than me. I'm gonna go down swinging. I'm gonna fight. I know I'm gonna get my ass kicked, but I'm going for it. I'm not afraid to stand up for mine. I'm not afraid to fight for my own. Fuck love. I just, but it's just, I'm not afraid. I'm not insecure. Yes, I'm a man. I'm set in my ways. I was taught differently, than to, avoid and ignore my feelings. That never works for anybody. If you ignore yourself and you ignore expressing yourself, you are going to be ignored. Exactly. That's how I look at it.
It says if you ignore your feelings and your ideals and your convictions, you're denying what makes you you. You're denying, your humanity. So, I mean, I'll answer the question now. Do I think we're a bunch of insecure punks? No. Can I admit that I do have a chip on my shoulder? Absolutely. Absolutely, huge chip on my shoulder. It's a chip on my shoulder because of my experiences with women. I have made it very clear that they weren't necessarily bad. They're just bad for me. And I've taken a responsibility that I have absolutely the worst taste in women. So I do have a chip on my shoulder. That doesn't mean I'm insecure. It doesn't mean I do, but I will admit it. I have a chip on my shoulder because of my experiences. And I like to think that I don't visit those sins upon new or old women. For example, the last relationship that I was in, despite my whatever my chip is and my insecurities, I went into that optimistic. I went into that and I was the best boyfriend-ish that I could be, given the time and the circumstances that I had. I wasn't looking for reasons to screw her up. I wasn't calling her out her name, So no, I'm not insecure. No, Manny's not insecure. No, Joe's not insecure. We just because we're expressing our feelings doesn't mean that we're insecure. It means that I think we're mature enough to express our feelings. And if I say it, damn near brave. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna pat us on the shoulder. Kind of brave to,
dare I say,
be this vulnerable on a platform where we can be ridiculed, where you can be. And if we weren't strong men, I mean, that comment would have had us probably in tears or questioning whether we want to do this episode, this series or not. The only question we got from that comment was, when are we talking about this and when are we recording? Literally, that is all that was what we said. We're strong men, but we're able to express ourselves, And it's not just this comment. Like the same woman I referred to that left me on red in the other episode. I had done a recording session with her for a different podcast, a friend with issues. Please check it out. And I made a joke that I referenced a couple of times. It's called synergy, brand synergy. You check it out. So because actually
plugging that shit in.
I gotta plug it in there. Check it out.
Plugging it in. Oh my God.
It's called A Friend with Issues. There's a Z at the end, not an S. Well, and Manny and Joe have their own dedicated episodes. So I'm just throwing it out there, cross promotion. So anyway, we were talking, and I made a crack about how she disappeared from my life for like 10 years, and it was just a crack. It was a joke. And she said, why are you being so bitter in this episode? And I kind of heard this comment, and I kind of brushed it off But then when she mentioned a time frame, and I said, well, that's the reason why you disappeared from my life for 10 years, because of that reason. Again, I'm just saying it in jest. She says, come on, stop being so bitter. And I'm like, I'm not being bitter by calling out the fact that you ghosted me for 10 years out of
Right.
nowhere. That's just, I mean, A, it's a joke. I'm not even trying to like start anything, but B, she meant that response. Oh, you sound so bitter. I'm not bitter, baby girl. That's not what it's about. I was A, making a joke, but two, even if I was being serious about my comment, just because I was expressing that, hey, I recognize that you dipped out on me for 10 years for no reason and all of a sudden came back around, no matter what your excuse was, it doesn't make me bitter. It makes me cognizant of the fact that I'm making you aware that I know that you disappeared. And there's nothing wrong with telling a girl out off and telling her, listen, I know this is your behavior. I'm gonna tolerate it for right now, but I'm letting you know I notice. So nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. It doesn't make me insecure. It doesn't make me bitter. It just makes me real and straightforward. God forbid a man is straightforward about his feelings, what he notices, and it's not just about getting it in. Carry on, guys.
Yeah, pretty much. But we can't be like that according to good old Nick.
No, according to him, we are the worst kind of men that you should never be us. I mean, are you serious? Some of the best qualities that a man should exhibit, we've expressed on this podcast. I'm just being honest. And again, I'm going to pat myself on the shoulder. Some of the best qualities that real men, real stand-up gentlemen should have, we've expressed as part of our nature here. So I don't know what he's listening to. Just because
that's why I was confused.
Just because we don't want to take women's shit. We don't want to be ghosted. We don't want to be played for a fool. We don't want to take you out for dinner and then you disappear. We don't want to spend money on you for no reason. We don't want to be in the friend zone. We don't want to be your pen pal. This isn't bitter. This is what we don't want.
And you, like I mentioned before, the basis of this podcast isn't entirely that 100%, but
no, it's not. We have ventured out to. We've had fun topics. This
right.
podcast stopped being all about women after what? After episode 8. No, not even that. Episode 7 was no, I don't want to be your friend. Episode 8 was the birds and the bees. Like, it stopped being, oh my God, women, ever since episode 8. We're at episode 54 right now. So it's not all about women.
Even right. And you're right. And it really hasn't since episode like 7 or 8.
We had this conversation, Joe. We had this conversation where we had other things to talk about. And we questioned, well, I mean, can we talk about this on this podcast? I mean, it's not really about relationships with women. I mean, you came to the conclusion together saying, well, nice guys deal with more things than just women in relationships. There are other things that we deal with. And we chose to say we're venturing beyond, because we can only you can only hear the same 2 guys or 3 complain about women or call women out on so many things. Nice guys, gentlemen, real men have more issues than just pussy. I'm just saying.
Well, today we have all the issues, though. That's unfortunate.
Exactly.
I think today we have the majority of them. It's become to the point where like cognitive dissonance has seeped into relationship talk, dating, and marriage. It's like seeped into those categories, surrounded by like women and men.
It's like the good guys have switched roles. For example, let's talk about my last relationship. Can you imagine a man talking to a woman saying, "You're not spending enough time with me. You're not doing anything nice for me"? That traditionally is a woman speaking to a guy who's aloof, nonchalant, who's not talking, when he first met her, he's taking her out, whatever. But now that they're together, he doesn't do anything anymore. It's fine. He just comes around, gets it in, that's it. Now imagine a man. I'm not a macho guy, but I'm a man telling my woman, hey, where's the reciprocation? Hey, where's my love and feeling? Hey, where's my treating? That's the reality we're in now. That men now are on the other opposite end, because women expect and take and aren't don't give it, and they don't feel like they need to give. I'm telling you right now, I can guarantee you right now that my ex does not believe she did anything wrong. Guaranteed. I guarantee that her friends probably think she did nothing wrong, and they probably
Well,
are telling her that I
that's
was.
just delusion.
I'm just saying, and they probably told her that I was ridiculous for expecting her to do something when she had to work or was working or whatever it is, whatever excuse
Right.
was.
Right.
I'm telling you, I guarantee this.
That's the issue with today's society, is that, you know, women have been bred to be more masculine, as has been discussed. We've discussed it a bunch of times.
Yep.
Kevin Samuels has said it a bunch of times, where, you know, the same expectation of women is not what it used to be. You know, women want to fight to be in charge. Women want to fight to be equal. Women want to fight just to be, you know, a part of something.
But then still expect you to still expect
do
the
everything
man
else.
to still do the man thing. They want to be
Right.
they want to be equal. They want to be in charge. They want to be a little bit more. They want to puff up their chest. But no, you still have to ask me out. No, you still have to take me out and pay. No, you still need to pay the bills. So what are we getting out of this now? If we have to take on all of that, and you don't give,
And a lot
any
of them don't even offer sex when you give them all that too. Let's be real. A lot of them don't. A lot of them don't. And primarily, I mean, don't we pretty much, besides the obvious of the feelings and emotions, but set that aside for a second. If we're offering all this to a woman, don't we just generally want you to just get freaky?
Yeah.
If not 95% of the time, close to 100.
All you need to do to keep a typical man happy, is give it up and feed him. That's it. We're not complex. Even the nice guys. I mean, we may want a little more feelings, a little more cuddling afterwards, but other than that, that's it. Feed us, screw us.
And there's so many people right now that are gonna listen to. If you used what we just said just now in the like 30 seconds of me, you, and Manny just speaking, use that as a clip. I guarantee you'll have even more hateful comments than what Nick said. Guarantee you. Just from that, what we just said just now, because the truth is so hard for people to understand when it comes to this. It is insane to me. It really is. It's like we're offending them by being honest. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Because
I truly do not get it.
And I said this yesterday, because women don't like to get called on bullshit.
Yep.
They get told one thing and they expect it to be the way that they get it. If things don't work out their way, the little 5-year-old tantrum or temper tantrum that they have inside internally, it comes out, and then we're wrong. You know, and that's the sucky part of it, because then we're like, okay, as men, okay, we will be like, all right, listen, it didn't work your way. All right, let's find another way to make it work. No, I want it my way. I mean, it's not really about you though. Like, it's about getting, it's about getting the situation taken care of. Correct. All right, let's find another route. Let's stop hitting this wall. Let's go around the wall, you know, and then continue moving forward.
Right, but we're punks, but we're insecure punks when we say stuff like this. We're insecure punks when you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when we throw that out there, you're clearly wrong. Let's do it this way.
But like, the crazy thing is, it's a factor of life, man. It's more openly spoken about. It's not about, you know, just going headstrong and just keep it going, keep pushing forward. No, sometimes they're just easier methods to keep going. You can keep going down the path, but you know, you can go A, B, C, but sometimes you can go to D first and then go B, C. You know, you just got to find your way around it. And to be called out to be insecure because of that, it's just absolutely, you know, ridiculous. Like I find it to be completely stupid. You know, it makes no sense.
It's condescending, you know.
Right.
It's like, and I've said this before, you know, even though he didn't, I mean, he might as well just call us crazy. But it's like Dave Chappelle said, calling somebody crazy is belittling. It's down. People aren't crazy. They're strong, independent, smart people. You know, maybe the environment that they're in makes them crazy. Okay, so maybe the heartache and the nonsense that we either have or have not put ourselves into, and the women we've been around have made us, have inspired us to voice our opinion, to help those or discuss those who listen, who commiserate. There are guys right now going through exactly what we're going through and don't have this outlet. You know, I've had people who said very clearly, damn, it's good to know that I'm not the only one. You know, I've heard this before, and it's great. I even do it when I listen to.
You said it to me.
Yes, Yes, I did. You know,
Not to joke, because Joe sucks at
no,
that.
Joe's different. Yeah, Joe. But even listening to Kevin Samuels, when he says certain things, and I'm just like, God, thank God somebody gets it, you know? So
Oh yeah, every episode I say that when I listen to him. I'm like,
absolutely.
God,
Absolutely,
finally,
absolutely, absolutely.
finally,
He says
finally.
he keeps it real, and I'm telling you right now, had I been introduced to Kevin Samuels long before this podcast, I would have said this podcast is a direct result of him, because we talk about the same things. The difference is he gets women on the air. The difference is he's way more blunt, women
Oh
in
yeah.
your face about it. You know, I think we still should compared to him. I can call women cowards all day, and it still pays in the comparison of what he says to women to their faces, and they still want to get up on his show, which makes no sense. Why would you see him shutting down woman after woman? Why do you think you're gonna be the one to shut him down? Have you lost your goddamn mind? That's the problem with women. You know, speaking truth.
Well, a lot of them do call them up just to get advice
Right,
about themselves.
right. But
And it never
he,
works out for them.
he tears them down. How many times does he literally hang up on them? You know, because
Yeah.
because he asks a simple question and they give you a roundabout kind of answer. It's the weirdest thing. All you gotta say is yes, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
And then when they get out of hand,
yeah,
you want insecurities? Check out Kevin Samuels, all the women he has on there. That's pure insecurity right there.
The crazy
Every
thing is,
one of them.
when he calls them out on their shit, man, like it's just like you see it. Like it. That's the crazy thing about it. We're being called insecure, but we have no problems and no qualms with anybody. We'll discuss it.
We'll discuss it.
We'll smooth it out. He calls people out on or the women out on their insecurities and the blankness in their faces. Like
they're blank, but then instead of accepting it, they
go
double
around
down.
it.
They
And
go
then
around
he's
it,
like,
double
yeah.
down, and
He's
they're
like, this
trying
is the
to
problem.
and they're
This
trying
is
to
the
argue
problem.
back, and they're trying to argue back, and they're trying to argue back. Let me just right now. If I felt insecure, I just say it. I said, he's absolutely right. It wouldn't take away from my message, but he'd be
yeah,
absolutely
but
right.
you can't.
He's not.
If you're a woman and you said that, you probably be the unicorn of this earth, because no woman that I've known in the past 35 years of
Of
my
course.
life has ever said, oh yeah, you know what, Joe, you're right. Not one.
It happened to me once. It happened to me
Not
once,
one.
but it took her several weeks, and she had to talk to numerous people to see my side. It's after a few people, including family, friends, and in-laws, had to tell her. So basically, I brought this up before. She said to me that the reason why I feel used by her is because I allow it. And I said, okay, hold on. Yes, I do say yes to you, but
That's crazy.
You're the one who comes to me. I don't wake up one day saying, "Hey, can I save you one day? Hey, can I go pick you up in Key West? Hey, can I host you for a weekend?" You come to me in a time of need, and you clearly said you come to me in a time of need because you know I'll say yes. So you are taking advantage of me, and I don't, okay, which is fine, cool. It's my fault too, right? But she didn't take any responsibility for it. She said, "No, you want to say yes. You need to say yes." I said, "What?" I said, "Do you think I'm rocking back and forth in my bed saying, please contact me so I can rescue you?" What? No, you're in need, and I respect you, and I respect your struggle. I'm a single father myself, so I understand it. I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing a good thing, and you're gonna tell me I'm wrong for saying, "Hey, wait a minute. This feels really like you feel like you're using me." I threw it in my face. Weeks later, my dudes. Weeks later, she messages me back. "I'd like to apologize. You're right. It is my responsibility." After I spoke to, and she listed who she spoke to. Now, not one person. I think it was 4 or 5 people, family, friends, coworkers, and in-laws, and they all told her, "You're a piece of shit. That's really fucked up. You're using this man, and because you know what you're doing, and he doesn't have the ability to say no to you,
That's
for
another
whatever
rare
reason."
occurrence. That's another
Yeah.
rare occurrence.
You know what the funny thing about that story is? I want to know, and this is a really guaranteed question that I really want to know. How many women have been called a piece of shit by relatives and by friends. And I mean like legit, not like, oh, you're such a piece of shit. No, like,
No.
wow,
Yeah.
you're a piece of shit for doing that. You know,
Yeah.
you're a piece of shit for having said that.
That's
like,
rare.
It's a
But
rarity. So when
it's because she's a black sheep. That's the reason why. I bet you if she wasn't a black sheep, they'd say no. You know, he was. You know, he should have said no. No, because she's a black sheep. You know, and that's what she is. That's why they're able to give her the truth. I'm being real with you.
That's actually the problem. That's the. I mean, I honestly believe in that. That's the problem that I'm actually going through right now, and which
you're
I
a piece of
believe
shit.
the problem.
We tell you that all the time.
That he's a piece of shit.
No, guys. Besides that, I'm talking about.
We're so insecure.
Besides that, I'm talking about having the friends or family call out the individual for their behavior and how they're treating a guy. I'm not
What'd your mom
saying
tell
that,
you, bro?
She said, she was like, oh, you're just a waste of space. I don't know why you're here.
She said,
yeah,
Joey,
Joey,
you're a piece of shit, Joey.
This is why we're insecure.
This is why we're insecure.
We gotta grow up, guys.
I wish, yeah, we have to grow up. We're 40. We look 40.
Yeah, we look
we're acting
40.
20.
Okay,
Oh,
we look 40.
13.
We're stuck in junior high school, guys.
Man.
Come on, guys.
He must have zoomed in on my face and saw the gray hairs on my beard and was like 45.
I saw mine.
45. That's what he said.
I don't have any right now because I plucked them.
He must have.
This guy's bald.
He ain't got no hair.
No, but I kind of wish my current situation right now that I had her side tell her how she is, but in the past 4 or 5 years, not one person, family or friends, and I find that to be extremely bad.
Yes. What is my question? Whenever I'm referring to a woman's bad behavior or toxic behavior, I always ask the one question: where are her friends? Where are her family? Where are the people talking in your ear telling you you're fucking up? Where are these people? Because if these people don't exist in your life, then they're not genuine. I said it very clearly, and I expect this from these men. If I'm doing something wrong, if I'm being a piece of shit, if I'm in a shitty situation, I expect them to tell me. You know, sure, I'm gonna get pissed about it, whatever. That's what a real friend does. They they tell you when you're fucking up. They tell you when you're doing wrong. That, you know, it doesn't mean, oh, I can't be your friend, but as your friend, I don't like how you're treating this person. As your friend,
or they see a situation in your current relationship, they actually physically see it and hear it, and they go, listen, man. They pull you to the side or they talk to you in a day when they're by yourself, when you and him are together by yourselves, and they're like, listen, I don't think that was right. I don't think X, Y, and Z was doing what she had to do. Blah blah blah. That is a real friend. You're right. That is a real friend.
Yeah.
And I've had that happen. So
have I. I've mentioned it. I've mentioned it here on this podcast.
It's happened to me. It's happened to an ex of mine. Like it. You know what? But like Jason said,
we may not listen, but we still respect it. Like that's what you should be doing. You know,
we don't listen at first. We respect it when it's said, and then we put it, you know, behind our subconscious. We think about it for a while, and then we realize that's called growing up. As Nick or Rick, whatever the hell his name, because he's unimportant, says, we don't need to grow up. We're fine. I mean, we're growing up every day. You know, that's just the point of life. That's what you do. Your mentality grows and progressives. That's what kinds of progressiveness is about. We're constantly growing. We're constantly learning. Obviously, this guy is not learned enough. But you know, that's a part of life. So you know, it's important to recognize what reality is, and it's important to point it out. If not, you're going to completely live in your fantasy world for the longest time.
That's right.
Blinded by reality.
Blinded by the light.
And then
Sorry.
We at the Nice Guys don't promote the horrible singing at karaoke bars unless you're drunk, and we're there to laugh at you.
Oh, that was so malicious, like, you know, like or devious or
but he's not lying though.
True.
I've done drunken karaoke. It's been fun.
God, I want to do some karaoke. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's sing our insecurities away.
Yeah, let's do that.
I wanna sing Billie Jean because it's not my lover.
Let's make sure we find a 40-plus-year-old karaoke bar too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. It's gotta match our age.
We gotta
real world.
we have to stay in our element.
We do.
Actually, you know what? We need to grow up, so we need to go higher.
Higher. Can you take me higher?
But that's the problem with society, is that everybody's individualism, it overcompensates for reality and therefore misconstrues life, and that's where hitting that wall constantly happens for the people that are just like, I'm not in your lane.
Yep.
Because you're on a weird highway that doesn't exist.
Yep.
So can we how do we fix this? How do we come back down? Like,
rewind.
How do we get back? How do we venture back to this path that, gets us forward, because this wall just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I'm going to end it here, but I would like to ask the audience, those who listen to us, those who watch us, hey ladies, answer the question. Are we a bunch of insecure punks? What do you think? You've listened to us, you've heard, and
based off of the episode, not a clip.
Not a 59-second clip.
Yes.
So Jason's question is number 1, and then Manny's question is number 2. How many have been called out on their bullshit? I'd like to know that one.
That sounds that'd be a good topic on its own. Why aren't women called out on their bullshit? Next time on Last of Nice Guys podcast. All right, so I guess the final thoughts, gentlemen. Joe, tell us about your insecurity.
My insecurity is listening to individuals who comment on our 50-second clip or 45-second clip and think they know the entire goddamn episode by heart, and what we were talking about and what we said. No, I personally am being biased. Again, I don't have insecurities. I don't think you should be calling especially if you're a man, and you don't know that man personally, like a friend, you shouldn't be calling that individual out on their insecurities because you don't know them. But again, this is the internet. The internet has been known to be a trolling piece of
cesspool,
hot trash. Cesspool. So this is the norm. But I will say that the comments and the replies, I actually encourage, aside from everything we talked about, I do encourage stuff like that, because it makes us want to reply even harder. That's what she said. And
not to Joe.
and because of this episode and because of his comment, the next time I join these gentlemen in person in South Florida, we're going to an actual karaoke bar, and we're going to make sure we
record an episode there.
We record an episode as we sing, so we can personally waste a tremendous amount of time and piss people off.
I like it. Manny, final thoughts.
What can I say about these internet trolls? Get your facts straight before you open up your mouth. The model of assuming makes an ass of you and me. It's very real. You cannot come into the middle or the end of a conversation, or come into any conversation at all without proper
context
or
context,
education or I can't research, because you sound like a complete jackass when you come in with nothing to put on the table, with the exception of a negative mentality that you yourself have been suffering from for quite some time. So,
low blow.
Listen, like I said, he was that bully in school that no one paid attention to, obviously. So, where I get from that is just, clarify yourself first. Clarity within yourself is most important.
So basically, what he's saying is, who you really mad at, bro? That's basically what Manny's asking.
You're misdirecting your anger towards us, and we did absolutely nothing to you. In 59 seconds,
we should encourage him to send a letter to Dr. Manny.
We triggered you. Yes, I would love to talk to you, Mr. Nick P.
Yep.
Send a letter, send an email. I would love to discuss
Last of the Nice Guys
whatever
at
you're going through.
yahoo.com. Last of the Nice Guys at yahoo.com. In the subject line, please put Dear Dr. Manny. Yes, we are going to make this happen. I don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, the battle of sexes may be dead in the water, but Dear Dr. Manny is a real thing. We want this to happen.
Listen, I will make Battle of the Sexes happen. You just
make it. You let me know, and let's just make it happen. We've got. I mean, that's it. So
I told you I will fly down just to make that happen. I don't mind.
But
I will fly down in person.
Well, no, because the people that Manny's got aren't going to come on camera. They're only going to do audio. So
first of all, Joe, you're coming from a place where sexual harassment is a known topic right now. So I need you to quiet down.
Calm that down. But for me, for my final thoughts, again, I don't think we're insecure by expressing ourselves on this platform. I don't think you have the right to belittle us in that fact, just because we are being vulnerable, we are expressing ourselves, and we're speaking our truth. It may not be the truth all the time, but at least it's our truth. I admit that and on any good day, I have a chip on my shoulders, and that's something that I work on daily. You know, nobody's perfect, and but I can always say that. Well, I know you're here, but what I can say though is that it's something that I work on, and that I am very, very, very confident that I don't visit that sin upon anyone. It's just something that's in the back of my head and that I have to work on. But other than that, that's about it. There's nothing else, and there's nothing wrong again with expressing yourself. And it's people like this I think people want to close up, because you don't want to hear that random "you're insecure." Well, why? I just said it's cold outside. You know, what does that mean? You know,
I'm being a bitch. Put on some mittens.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
You know, you're expressing yourself. You're expressing yourself, and you're insecure. You're expressing yourself, and you're bitter. You're expressing yourself, and you have issues. Why? Why is it all that? There's a fine line between expression and obsession. There's a fine line between something that's petty and something that's meaningful. And I think that for the most part, we speak meaningful. And whenever something is petty, we throw it out there. Yeah, we know this is a petty argument, but we're still bringing it up. So I completely disagree.
And to add to that, you know, a lot of the mental health issues today have been because people have not figured out a way how to properly express themselves.
They don't have they don't have an outlet for their feelings. So, nobody journals anymore. Nobody does blogs anymore necessarily, or whatever. Nobody has diaries anymore. So
I bring that up because yesterday was the great Robin Williams committed suicide. You know, it's his 7-year anniversary that he passed away yesterday.
Allegedly.
And again, it's a mental health thing. You know, things. You know, he obviously as a shut the fuck up. This is supposed to be a real.
I know, but Joe's that was the most inopportune time to use that joke. You know, and you were somber. It was real, and he just allegedly. What the fuck is wrong with you?
You know, I hope Robin Williams pays you a visit.
I hope he does too. So, I hope he comes as Patch Adams and scares the shit out of you the entire time.
Allegedly, huh, motherfucker?
Yeah. Oh my god.
But if you know what I know,
we don't want to know what you.
What do you know? What do you think you know?
You're in that lovely state where you know
you're so insecure about this podcast. You do it in your fucking car, okay? So, okay,
bitch, grow up.
Okay.
But mental health is a serious thing, and you know. This guy Nick will probably say, yeah, well, we didn't have that back in our day, yada yada yada. You know, you just manned up and got over it. Yeah, well, suicide rate was also pretty high back then too, just like it is right now. So
it's higher than COVID.
Right. So the crazy thing about that is no one's getting to the point. What causes suicide? Mental health or mental illnesses. You guys, stop it. Mental health is a serious thing and it should be focused on. Do not feel disembodied by this gentleman who says, just put it down and push it down inside, bro, because eventually as a man, it'll get better. It does not. Find your way to party on, Garth. No. Cowabunga. So just find an outlet, find somebody to speak to. Don't ignore mental health. If you feel that you're suffering and you don't have a way or a means to express yourself,
Email us at lastoftheniceguys@yahoo.com.
Dr. Manny will definitely talk
Dr.
to
Manny
you
will help you. Because I can personally attest that had we not had this podcast, Joe would have hung himself. He would have hung himself a long time ago. I couldn't get through with a straight face.
Let me tell you something. You have no idea. This audience has no idea. No idea.
No idea how tiny.
The crap that I had called this man over the years with and told him about. I felt, talk about insecure, man.
Nigga.
Look.
Nobody knows.
And this man is still graveling, or used to be graveling over an ex. So
Yeah. So all right. So that's it. That's the Last of the Nice Guys podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Dr. Manny.
I'm Dr. Manny. And thank you for your time.
The Last of the Nice Guys. Follow, like, and subscribe on Twitter and Instagram at Last Nice Guys, Facebook.com/Last Nice Guys, or email lastoftheniceguys@yahoo.com.